What is going on, you guys? It's your boy, the talkative troll here, and we're back with episode 67 of the video game therapy series. For some reason, I thought I did 67 already, but it turns out I had failed one of these earlier where I accidentally stopped talking for like 10 minutes because, believe it or not, it's not a trivial exercise to talk to yourself for a while, but yeah, I've gotten good enough at these that, if push comes to shove, I can whip out a whole hour of these. Full disclosure, I'm coming off a meal, and for some reason, the insulin spike of all the digesting carbohydrates or sugar or whatever makes these a little more sluggish than if I'm coming off a nap or something. So hopefully I can get through things today without much of a hitch. But the first thing I want to talk about, it might sound really complainy to start, which I'm sure it will, but that's kind of what part of the function of this whole series is to have a safe place to complain about stuff. So it might sound a little complainy, just a heads up. But I want to talk about coping mechanisms, whatever. And I don't mean in the sense of like some kind of like drug addiction or some coping, whatever. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about more of a coping with life and the uncertainties and I don't know. Yeah, the uncertainties really is probably the best word. The uncertainties of life, right? Coping with it. So I'm not really shaming here. Again, I think really the whole point of my entire argument around coping for life is kind of a lack of shame. But I kind of get, not say I hear this a lot, but it's a sentiment amongst other people. They're like, well, this is how the real world works. Like the real world works like this. And often my nose turns up immediately, and I'm like, I don't fucking care about this real world you're referring to. As if like, oh well, and this business is doing well. This is just business. This is how the real world works. And I really hate that as a platitude or just really a veneer to hide behind because, yes, you can kind of take the relativist argument and say that, well, your real world is not my real world. Therefore, like everyone kind of has their own rules within their own real world. But regardless, no one has all the answers. Everybody like that should be a well-established answer is that you don't fucking know. I don't fucking know. We're, talking meatballs really who have ideas about stuff, but there's certainly nothing certain about anything. So the fact that you claim to have the answers or this is how the world works, like no, the world doesn't. We don't really know how it all works, right? We've done some stuff to make it as predictable as we can and to abstract finite from the infinite, but ultimately we don't fucking know, right? But I guess the fingers I want to point here are about like shaming the coping mechanisms of certain people. So, for example, I spend a lot of time and effort and emphasis on my physical body. So I count, I don't really count calories per se, but I have a mechanism in which if I eat something, I have to write it down. And believe it or not, that's actually pretty effective at making sure I don't eat like shit. Now, granted, there's been days where I've eaten 5,800 calories, and I know that because I've written it down. But otherwise, I generally not even have to eat well. I eat under a certain caloric amount because I write it down. But that's kind of a whole other thing. The reason I mention that is because I try to take good care of my body. I go to the gym. I try to exercise. I try to eat. I try to sleep. I try to do everything that as far as we know, is kind of the right way to treat your body. Right? Again, there's some nuances, and I'm sure there's some stupid magic pill I'm not taking that's causing me to be this fat lard or whatever. I'm whatever. I'm not here to debate the merits of that. But regardless, I put emphasis, whether or not it pays out is up to you, emphasis on my physical body and my training regimen. And some might look at that and be like, well, he's overcompensating for something else. And I overcompensating for like a lack of intellectual prowess because I don't look like somebody who is loves to debate the merits of different philosophies, or someone that is like who's too immature to care about anything other than himself. And as a young 20-something, it's not really, I don't see it as in society's best interest for me to be all about the collective, right? There are people that I think generally I feel the most hostility from are those that are very, very collectively minded, in the sense that their personal goals are very pro-social and very towards the collective good, other people, helping others, yada, yada, yada. And of course, by nature, like, as if you're a more well-equipped individual, you're more well-equipped to help the collective anyway. So if anything, it's kind of a longer-term investment. So that's kind of one thing. But the fact that, again, going back to my original postulation here, you don't act like you have the answers to everything. You don't have the answers to anything. Your point of life is just as dumb and as pointless as mine. And I even put into this category like people who have kids are like, well, once you're an adult and you've had kids and you'll know what it's like. It's like, first of all, nobody is requiring you to have kids, right? You don't have to. The world doesn't require your bloodline to survive. We'll do just fine without you. So it's not even just that part of it, but then to act kind of this holier than thou or maturer than thou, or I've evolved past your, immaturity to have kids. Your kids are shitheads. Okay, I've taught kids before, and they're horrible. Like 20% of them, not even, probably more than that, are just unabashedly addicted to porn, and they're like in middle school. This is like before I even knew porn existed, and so God save those kids. But here I am trying to convince them that Python is more important to learn than big booty Puerto Rican goddesses, and it's a losing battle every time. And so I'm not saying that is that's a case against euthanizing people or not having kids. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying the whole purpose of life is not just to have kids. That is the biological, I guess, like monkey brain purpose of life. Sure. But I thought we were supposed to be this advanced intellectual society. Monkeys don't even have societies. So are we an advanced intellectual society or not? Because if we're monkeys, let's fucking live like monkeys. We'll make as many monkeys as we can, and then when we blow up the place because Earth can't sustain us, then what? Then we had all this brain power to do nothing with. Or, are we this nuanced society who can treat issues with integrity and intelligence? Okay, then fine. Don't just act like just because you had biological sex and had a kid that all of a sudden you're better than me because I spend my time going to the gym and working on myself. So I don't know. I think part of it is I get, not like I'm getting, people are shitting on me all the time, because they're not, but I feel like there is this unspoken shame towards people who are maybe more overtly focused on themselves. And especially as young 20-somethings and young 20-somethings males who have really their entire value is, there's no intrinsic value to their existence. They have to kind of earn some kind of value in some way or the other, whether it's through vanity metrics of money or the gym or whatever. I'm not saying that I'm right and you're wrong, or that even going to the gym and working on yourself or making as much money as you can or whatever the fuck these other people are doing isn't but I'm arguing that it's just as stupid as this. Oh, I'm an adult, I have kids, I pay taxes, and I raise it, I have a dog too. It's like, that doesn't mean fucking shit. Those are equally vanity metrics in my eyes than somebody who, is worried about their own little selfish thing. So I suppose one end I want to just denounce the fact that just because, especially if you're a young 20-something, if you're working on yourself, that you're automatically this selfish person who should spend more time thinking about others. And, once you get in the real world, you'll know. It's like, first of all, you don't fucking know anything. I don't know anything. I will never know what it is. The universe will never speak to me and tell me and give me its answers. So don't run around. The last thing you want to do is to run around and proclaim that you know everything, or that God spoke to you, or whatever the fuck you want to talk about. It's a ridiculous idea. So I don't know. I just feel a certain amount of shame for people in my situation and scenario, that not that we're fixated on doing things that for betterment of ourselves, but most of my day is geared towards under some umbrella of self-development, whether that's trying to learn something or organizing something, or my digital and physical hygiene, working on stuff like that. It doesn't make me less holier than thou because I'm not raising kids that are, just porn addicted people. So I don't know. I just want to kind of make a short argument about the coping mechanisms with the uncertainty of life, and to, I guess, try to I want to validate everybody's coping mechanisms by invalidating everybody's, because I want to invalidate the fact that there is a better or a adult or a mature or a right way to do it. So, I'm sorry that my coping mechanism is trying to look like a Greek god inside and out, including the baby penis and everything. I'm just kidding. And your coping mechanism is drinking wine and listening to NPR and raising shithole kids that are, going to go on and do the same thing you're doing. So don't, you're not better than me. Okay. I'm not better than you. So don't act like it. Right. I guess to have some humility with it. I think that's just the one thing that happens when people are an adult and have kids. They kind of assume that there's this, you would know what it's like. You can't imagine what it's like. I probably can't imagine it. And, that doesn't mean that like you're better than me because you're doing something. So, I challenge you to do the shit that I put myself through every day. And of course there's no kid making me do it. I'm doing it because I want to do it. And I'm, curious about pushing the ends of my personal existence. And in some ways that's more, in my eyes, more noble than being forced to do something, right? In your case, it's more closer to slavery, where mine is more of a artistic expression of the human experience. So I don't know. I just think spending any time invalidating other people's coping mechanisms and whatever, and I'm using that kind of loosely because I wouldn't really consider taking care of your physical body to be a coping mechanism any more than raising kids. That's fine. I'm not in the business of judging anyone's decisions. So, I guess try to extend that same courtesy to other people. So if you want to have kids, don't make it, not even just to people who have kids. I was kind of speaking to everyone, people who value money over everything. Money is for morons. I said this before, but the people who accrue this vast amount of wealth end up being stupider than the people who are trying to separate themselves from by having a bunch of money. And of course, the comment is, well, I like sleeping on a mattress, and go be homeless if you don't care about money at all. It's like, well, okay, I'm not saying that there is some silver lining to having money. I'm saying making it the every living, waking, breathing moment of your time, its focus is dumb. What is it to be human? Just to make money? That doesn't make any sense. We made money up. Of course, I don't want to really use that argument everywhere, because I don't know, people that tend to think like that don't bother with the semantics of what is artificial and what might not be. And I guess the merits of it is that everything's artificial, and there's not money is just as real as anything else. And I guess the only thing we can kind of know in some sense is real to us is like consciousness, I suppose. But again, that kind of becomes more metaphysical than I might be able to get the headspace for right now. But anyway, that was just kind of more of a rant on people that shame people like me that like trying to develop themselves into robust. I don't even know. Not really, no one really knows what they're doing. But I'm still trying some things. But yeah, I guess the part that bothers me is that, I kind of had this attitude for a while. You can kind of go back in the archive. That's part of the reason I made this, is I've kind of this attitude of uncertainty. And I don't think that ever people that are truly thinking and being free-spirited in their, internal intellectual debates never really should not find any other conclusion. There's never like, I thought about it and I figured it out, and the reason from like, I live to be an accountant. I think really you just kind of give up on battling with the uncertainty, and you just kind of embrace something, right? So like if you bring it back to the having kids thing, which I don't want to come off like I'm some baby hater. I'm just using it as a classic example of what is thought to be as like this noble exercise, like thank you for having kids kind of thing. But some people they find somebody, they get married, they have kids, and then they're like, okay, I know my purpose for existence is to provide for my kids, and that's fine. But that too is also an artificial, and sure, yeah, of course it's related to, like biological life in the sense that you're promoting that. But like I said, then we're just all monkeys trying to get as many monkeys as we can. Like, is that the goal then? So, you're not really moving us any closer towards any, I suppose, philosophical goal of any kind of society. You're really just kind of hunting along a biological limit. And, and in some ways you could argue that there's more of a burden by just having a bunch of kids than anything else. But regardless, I don't know. I just think it's not most people that claim to, I kind of figured it out. I thought deeply about what I wanted and I learned that I wanted this. It's like so really, okay. You just, there's what the universe spoke to you and told you that you needed to be an accountant, and that's what you're going to devote your life to. I think the way I'm thinking about this is that there's no actual resolution that happens. It is, if any resolution happens, it's self-delusion, where you have like, okay, well, you've kind of gaslit yourself into believing, and, you're convinced that accountancy is your universal calling, and you're just going to be like, that's what you're supposed to do. You're going to have an accountant and you're going to have 3 kids, and making me feel dumb because I, openly admit to I don't have the fucking answers. I won't probably ever. But to kind of put yourself on a pedestal of people that are unabashedly still uncertain, is to kind of, I don't know, to put yourself in a different category is foolish. Because I really think if you're, again, always being critical and challenging assumptions and thinking deeply about your existence, whatever that means to you, there's never I want to have an accountant and have 3 kids. That is not, there's no way that's the answer to life. And sure, if you just want to believe that that's the point of your life and you can exist that way, great. I don't care. But don't act like that's going to happen to me, where I'm just going to be like, oh yeah, I'll be an accountant and that'll be it. Like, I am sooner to live in a life of limbo than to just surrender and be an accountant. By the way, accounting is just some stupid example I came up with. It was the first kind of soulless, I don't know, kind of surrogate job that I could think of. But anyway, I'll move on to something else. This is kind of somewhat related, I'll say, loosely related, but I'm just going to assume that there's people that are asking me this stuff, because there's not. But when I'm prompted with something, and generally, prompted as in like somebody asked me for advice, I want to just kind of, this is a very semantics argument, so don't feel like there's a whole lot more to this than what I'm saying. I don't want to draw a distinction between opinion and advice, because if somebody asked me for my advice on something, it might be different than my opinion. So for example, like somebody, my junior, goes, what should I do for a job? Right. And I guess my advice around stuff like that is, okay, what are you talking about with a job? What does that mean? Is it, how are you going to make money? Okay, so what do you need the money for? Like, let's kind of peel back these assumptions and really think about, your question. You came to me asking, how do I get a job or something? What does that mean to you? Is that just what you were told? Like, how much have you thought about this? It's like what a job is and what you're planning on doing. What is this? And that'd be kind of my opinion, is that there's a wide question. What the hell? So first of all, do you need the job? What do you need the job for, other than just to do what somebody told you to do? And is that how you want to live? It's just, okay, doing something someone else told you to do. It's like, okay, and if you come to the conclusion on your own that you want to be an investment banker, fine, I guess, sure. I'm, whatever. Go get a job in investment banking. I, don't know what to tell you. However, that's kind of my opinion on something like that, where it's not, I wouldn't be jumping at the opportunity to be, go do this, and these jobs are great, and yada, yada, yada. I would just think about all of that collectively. And then conversely, my advice around something like that is, okay, I want to get a job as a programmer. Okay, well, I would probably get good at programming, that, I don't know. There's just a distinction in my eyes between, just broad advice on something, whereas, it's kind of a prescription, whereas an opinion is maybe more philosophical in nature, where it's, you know, my opinion on job is that they're, you know, the way they're structured in this day and age are pretty stupid, and you should avoid, you know, having them at all costs, you know. But of course, that's my opinion. My advice would not be to do that and to, you know, whatever. So I suppose it's, I don't know. Again, there's kind of a whole semantics argument around advice versus an opinion, but I just wanted to draw a line of distinction there. Not that it's super, much more profound than that, I guess, for me at this time. But anyway, something else. Hang on, let me get a sip of my beverage here. Sorry if that was too loud. I was pretty close to the mic. I was thinking about, you know, because we hear stuff a lot. We listen. We hear stuff in ads and in media. We listen to stuff, right? You're, you know, probably listening to this right now, or reading it closed caption, but probably listening to it. And a quote I just kind of pulled out of my ass here. Now I don't claim to be some guy who, you know, some wordsmith who can come up with these great quotes all the time, but I felt like this quote warranted some more dissection from me. But and I don't know if I assume this is original. I'm not sure if somebody else came up with this, but I say words with no voice have little meaning. And I think that is part of, because I tune a lot of stuff out. There's like many words and noises that I don't fucking hear at all. And I don't think it's because I am deaf or that I don't care. All that's part of it. I just think it lacks a voice, and words that don't really have a clear voice don't have any meaning. What I mean by that is like listen to a politician, for example. Well, you know, pick your favorite, doesn't matter. And the reason I just automatically tune that kind of language out is because there's no voice behind it. And of course, obviously the guy speaking it has a voice. I mean, on a more, on a deeper level. Does he have like who's him? Who the fuck is talking right now? You know, it's obviously not him. It's some dude back there who drafted up something. Probably with ChatGPT now, I'd love to look through some of the ChatGPT logs of these White House people or whatever. But it's clear that that's not the guy's voice, right? That's not, you know, Obama might be saying it, but it's not really his authentic voice. And I just see so much more now where there's just not, there's just no voice behind anything, right? There's words and there's just sounds, but who the fuck is talking right now? You sound like a bot, and I don't listen to that, right? I don't want to subject myself to that, so I don't listen. And I don't think it's that I'm being immature or moody that I just don't listen to things, but if there's no voice behind this, if I really don't hear any if I don't hear any deeper meaning, any syndication, any personhood behind words, I'm not listening. I'm just tuning them out. And so maybe that's why I hate politics so much, and just not even politics is part of it, but just big media. Like, you go read an article from the New York Times or the Guardian or some other one of those shit posting sites, and tell me what the voice is. Where's the energy? Who is that? A human talking? It might as well just be a bot. There's no humanity. We've just stripped it, and it's just these words that are just plastic. I mean, I can't even read it. I just skim over it because it's not even word. There's just no character to them. And again, it's part of this is difficult to articulate because it's kind of indescribable what gives words a voice. But you know, the media I consume is a lot of these, I guess you can call them like indie bloggers, right? But all of them have very like unique writing styles, and they have like unique opinions on things that make it clear that somebody's talking, right? Whereas I feel like if I read some New York Times article, who the hell is talking? Who am I listening to right now? I'm hearing emptiness. There's no voice behind this. So I don't know. I just kind of felt like words that don't have a voice have little meaning. So again, you could be, and that's part of the reason that I think statistics has unfortunately been kind of commandeered by these pseudoscientists, and not really pseudoscientists in the sense that they're not scientists, but people that love bickering about science. Statistics inherently don't have a voice behind them. I could fill this entire video with 2 hours of me going 33% of males in this category reported eating under 5. It's like, I could just sit there and just blab at, but you don't even listen. I don't even listen. No one's listening because they're empty. There's no voice behind it. And, whereas if we attach ourselves to these personal anecdotes that are super non-scientific, but mostly, in my view, because they have somebody's talking. I at least know whose story this is, right? Whether it's, El Chapo or whoever's giving me this dumb story, I at least know that there's a human behind this, right? Whereas statistics just is so empty. And I think that's why people are so quick to side with and to live with these anecdotes, is because there's this, I hate to say story behind it, as if for some story, like, we're just storytelling apes. But in some ways, I think that's why we do it, and why statistics is kind of losing this battle. And not that I have a side. I don't care who wins. I don't even care that there's any kind of argument between this, but it kind of makes sense now that people, they're ignoring the statistics. Well, it's because the statistics are, they're all just bots. And plus, I've talked at length already about the dubious nature of a lot of these statistics. Chocolate both kills you and, cures cancer. Like, what is it? And obviously, it's probably somewhere in the middle. I'm certain that it doesn't kill you, and I'm also certain that it doesn't cure cancer. So why even make this, right? And I think that's another reason that statistics has kind of been shit on. It's just because it's bad science. It's poor craftsmanship. So anyway, speaking of craftsmanship, that's something I, speaking of personal development, it's kind of something I aspire to be, a craftsman of some kind, especially as looking at how shitty, at least how shitty I view many products and different things today. The craftsman is dead, right? There's not really, you'd be hard pressed to go find like, something that isn't just mass produced by 3 different companies kind of thing. Whether it's shirts or technology products or whatever it is, it's a lot of times there's no soul, right? Even restaurants, there's not even hardly mom and pop shops anymore. And part of it is, it's more efficient to produce goods at this massive scale. And, a fast food restaurant might achieve 80% of the quote unquote efficiency, or 80% of the quality, we'll say in quotes, of a mom and pop restaurant while serving 3 times the user base. So on paper, it's better. But ultimately, there's, again, something kind of human and indescribable about the value of mom and pop shop, or that's making subs or something. There's kind of this love or whatever. Again, there's not. I said it sounds very wishy-washy and even religious in some sense. That I'm kind of romanticizing these smaller creators, but surely in craftsmanship there's a lot, right? You can see that. Like go look at a hand sewn jacket versus some off the wall shit, right? It's always sloppy. The thing's never going to last that long. And, there's, when they used to hand make stuff, way back when, this stuff lasts fucking forever. I mean, my God, you never need to buy one again, right? Somebody talked about, they bought this, I forgot where I saw it. I think it was on Hacker News somewhere, but I saw this guy bought this blender from he thought it was from the 1980s, but it turns out it's from the 1940s, and it was still working. And that's like almost 100 years ago. This guy's still like ripping this blender. And he's like, they just, don't make things like these do. And so I'm not saying that wasn't pumped out of some factory, but there was surely, actually it probably wasn't if it was that long ago. But there's some, some craftsmanship, some time that was taken with it. And when things are mass produced, you're inevitably making this huge trade-off for time. And I'm not saying that we need to abandon industrialization and only go back to handmade things. I just think there is a shortage of people doing things by hand. And this even includes stuff like software. Software is just so lifeless now. There's, being a craftsman in that regard is still very much like a thing that is needed. So I kind of aspire to be, I guess in my own words here, a craftsman of the human mind or the human body in some way. Just be a craftsman of some sort. And I want to befriend and have a, kind of have the, in every movie, there's always a character that like, oh, I know a guy that can do that, but craftsmen of all different types and the things that I don't spec into as an individual. I'd love to have those as, acquaintances, people that I know that are good at stuff, right? You don't really want to be friends with the guy who just, who can't do anything, right? You want to be friends with like, this guy's like a kick-ass lawyer or something. And I hate I hate the law, but, you know, in many ways, more ways than one. But if I need this guy's a kick-ass lawyer. He's like, he's a craftsman of the law. That's like what he does. And so I kind of aspire to be a craftsman of my own and have, you know, a kind of a team or a small group of craftsmen, right? I don't want to solve for volume in here, have 500 of the best lawyers. I just want like the one or a one great craftsman of a lawyer. And lawyer is probably a terrible example. Like, you know, just, I don't know, craftsman stuff that people that are good at doing, like, they kind of spec into something. They're good at doing one thing. And one thing that, again, has a level of utility that isn't superfluous. Like if you're so good at, you know, at writing Slack messages for your Microsoft Teams, you know, business. I don't want that person. Okay. That person is not a craftsman. You know, there's some lines I have to draw, and unfortunately, you know, getting good at some corpo tool is not a craftsmanship I would like to, harness or develop. So, yeah, I don't know. I just aspire. Craftsmanship is in my view, if we're talking about vanity goals and stupid forms of ikigai, or the reason that your purpose for existing, being a craftsman is one that is appealing to me. So, I don't know. I kind of loosely said I'd like to be a craftsman of the mind and the body, because I really don't think I'm that, I'm not that good at that much stuff. I feel like that's kind of a rude thing to say to myself, but there's nothing that stands out that I'm like, oh, I'm like excellent at this. I'm not excellent at programming in any sense. I'm not really excellent at communicating in any way. There's not really that many things I'm good at. I suppose if there's one thing I do a lot, it's I ask a lot of questions, and that's what I think. That's what I think. Kind of crafting a healthy mind is always asking the right questions, and I certainly don't give out a bunch of answers. So I suppose that's one difficulty, and I'm not sure how useful I'll be to, you know, an army of actual craftsmen who can do stuff if I'm just, you know, I'm the guy who can think about stuff. Like, when does this guy come in handy? Never. You know, he's the guy that doesn't make it into the movie because he can't do anything. Anyway, I don't know. I suppose we'll see where life takes me. There's a certain amount of spontaneity that I have to just live with, and it is what it is, I suppose. So anyway, I'll move on to the next thing. Oh, do novel ideas exist? AKA, is creativity a sham, or is it all just kind of repurposed and retweaked stuff? This is kind of a hard question. It also kind of ended up being a stupid question, because whether it exists or not, can't tell the difference. But the reason I bring it up is because AI has taken over a lot of creative jobs, right? And we say creative jobs. What the hell does that mean, right? What is a creative job? What does creativity look like? And I feel like people always have these very hand-wavy answers to this, and I don't have a better answer. It's, you know, also pretty hand-wavy. But what does it look like? You know, these ideas. Oh, such and such came up with this new idea. And it's like, okay, well, is it a new idea? Or is it a two ideas they smashed together, tweaked it a little bit, and now it's a new idea, quote unquote. And I'm thinking about this a lot in the context of a lot of these discussions around copyright and IP laws that people are bitching about a lot. I personally view a lot of the whole copyright trademark law as just a complete mess and a sham. Like the fact that they can kind of lock stuff down for like 100 years is ridiculous. Regardless, that's neither here nor there. I'm trying to think about the merits of new ideas as an idea, like the idea of new ideas. Does this, you know, what does that mean, right? Who's to say, oh, a judge tells me what's a new idea? Really, that seems awfully convenient, right? To just kind of say, okay, well, it's the judge. If the judge says it's a new idea, it's a new idea. It's like, okay, the judge is now somebody who mastered our court system is now the judge for creativity, right? So are they an artist too, or are they just a judge who can, you know, they just make very vague judgments on stuff? So I don't know that I would put it in the law, put it in the hands of the law to say, you know, is this a new idea? And yeah, the other thing just about robots doing it, I suppose I'll just say robots, but this could mean anything in that whole realm. I mean, are they? If no, there's no such thing as a novel idea per se. Then, and robots have done a number of things that could be considered novel anyway, right? You can kind of tell it to say, okay, combine these two and make it blue instead of red, and then that there's a new idea, right? There's a new painting, and certainly if I think about like Dolly and the artworks it's created, those are certainly novel in the sense that we haven't seen them before, right? So if you define something as new as I've never seen it, or humankind has never seen it, then by nature, your artists are kind of dead because they just made something no one's ever seen before. And then you can say, well, it's because this was this was tweaking off of these existing artworks, so it's not really a new thing. Well, all other artwork is also based on other artwork, right? Like, even the tools we use to create art was, those existed. That was someone else's piece of art, so to speak. So, therefore, even a line isn't really your painting of a human face is still a human face, and there's been many of those paintings around. So the idea of a human face in a painting is not new. So, okay, and is it the person's face that you're painting? It's like, well, circles and lines, these things have all been done before. So you're just kind of, it's a unique selection of circles and lines. So I don't know, you can kind of extrapolate this to be, whether it's code or painting of something or whatever it is, you can extrapolate down to like, okay, we're even using the alphabet that someone else made. So the alphabet isn't original, therefore you're using language that can't be novel by nature, right? And the problem with thinking like that is historically we've never had to deal with problems at this scale, dealing with like, you'd never have to make the alphabet argument. Well, it's because it's like, well, you obviously, oh shit, I just broke that pickaxe. Whatever. You'd never have to make the, shite. Never have to make the argument of scale because there was never something capable of brute forcing the gajillions of words that could feasibly be this, journal entry. But now we technically could. So like a piece of writing that is original, how do we really know if it's like machine generated or not, even if machines are just using statistics to do it? Because in some ways, I suppose our brains function in a very similar way. Again, as far as we know, that we're not really generating, you're not really making up new words. Like, we might, have an adaptation on a word that might seem logical to us, but it's not really that's certainly not using any new letters, right? Imagine if I wrote something that was in a language no one had ever seen and I just made up. Even the language I made up would have to be something translatable from existing languages or to existing languages. Therefore, it can't be a entirely like alien language. It would have to be some variant on an existing language. And this is like even like an English language or alphabet even. Like if I made an alphabet and made it translatable between other things, I was obviously inspired in some way by the English alphabet or the Greek alphabet or whatever alphabets I was inspired by. So it's not really it's difficult to determine what exactly do we say is fair, or not fair, but like new, right? And I guess fair in terms of who do we give copyright protections to? And part of me just thinks that we should do away with that whole thing, right? We should just say to hell with the whole like, we got to protect people that make stuff because we want to. The ironic part is that they're trying to protect innovation by locking stuff down, and it's most of the time things that really blow up aren't the original work. It's like a parody of the original work that either some improvement or some amendment or some variation on something that is original that was created immediately after that becomes this enormous thing. And so if we take an original work and immediately wall it off from anybody doing derivatives, by nature, we're crushing the innovation we're seeking to protect. So it just seems a little, hypocritical to be speaking about innovation if we're talking about copyright, which in my view is the opposite of innovation. Like if you're really speaking about innovation, copyright has nothing to do with that. It's the opposite, right? It crushes it, if anything. So I don't know. Part of me thinks we're kind of beyond a point. We should strive to be beyond a point where we have to dick around debating the merits of whether or not this is original and yada yada yada, and we should just things should just be kind of open and free. And that's that kind of goes along with I'm gonna sneeze real quick. No, I'm not. It goes along with I guess my philosophy of software is especially stuff that I write, I just take it. I mean, use it. I mean, as long as you're not passing it off on your own and making a bunch of money from it like a douche and, or, doing something bad to someone else, do whatever you want with it. I don't care if I make some kind of piece of music and someone forks it and does their own thing and makes $1 million. Great. Congratulations. I don't even care, and even in the cases where I think it does kind of get abused and maybe these smaller creators are destroyed. Why'd you make it in the first place? Right. So let's say I make a new hit song, Get Swifty 2, and somebody takes it without my permission, forks it and makes $1 billion. And here I am, oh no, I'm gonna get all pissed off. Someone took my Get Swifty song and made a bunch of money off of it. You know what? It was fun for me making it, you can just have it. I hope the riches treat you well, great. Have fun with it. I made it because I want to make it. I didn't make it, I didn't do it all for money because, now that's kind of, the hippie take of it is, oh, you shouldn't have to do everything for money, bro. Just do it because you love it. And yeah, it might suck like in the moment to have missed out and somebody else profited from all my work and whatever. I just think at a certain point, if we want to be truly these elevated species, we got to move beyond these, kind of trivial monkeys arguing over bananas kind of thing. It's like, are we monkeys or are we these superior intellectual beings? So if we're monkeys, then fine. We'll just spend all day slinging shit at each other. But if we want to be civilized and, act like we're, intellectual beings with autonomy and thought and whatever the fuck else you ascribe to humanity, then quit slinging shit at me and talking about bananas. So, if I make something, you take it and go live the wildest life of your dreams off the back of my work. Great. Congratulations. I've done something for humanity. I don't care. You can have it. So that's kind of my attitude. And again, I suppose it's one thing to say that, but it's another to, have a book you wrote ripped off by somebody else. And it probably would feel kind of shitty, to have, if I wrote a book and then someone else just slapped their name on it and made a bunch of money off of it. But I think if I was really mature, I guess to use immature language for that, I shouldn't care. I don't care. Great. We made a bunch of money off it. I hope, whatever, take it. Great. I'm glad you could use it. I'm just glad that, you didn't, it's one thing, it'd be insulted if it's not your book. Like the fact that they used your book to make a bunch of money, it should be a compliment, right? And of course, yeah, you didn't get the money, but who cares, right? I don't know. I think we should, like I said, money is kind of for morons. And I don't know. I kind of speaking from somebody who's on the edge of poverty, talking about how money is stupid, but it hasn't gotten to me yet, right? I haven't sold out, and I don't plan on it. So I don't know. We shall see how well that quote ages, but I don't know. Whatever. Let's see. I'm gonna. Can you teach focus? So here's something that I've thought about quite a bit, and I've pinged back and forth on this too. I think a fair amount. Obviously, like the key to getting stuff done, and this really could be anything. This could be whether you're a creative or you're a bean counter, whatever the fuck you call yourself, or even if you're just a meathead body, but it doesn't matter. Getting stuff done is what you want, right? Whatever that means to you, right? I suppose this is the opposite of, even if whatever you're getting stuff done, if your stuff is like, I want to meditate in silence for 10 hours. I want to take a shower. It's like, this is still like stuff that you want to get done, right? Regardless, I'll brush past that. But focus is kind of the key factor there, right? If you're unable to, focus on whatever you're doing, you're not going to be able to get stuff done. And so you kind of have to be you can't be focused on your focus in order for you to focus, right? There's like this meta awareness of focus. Like if you're aware that, oh, I'm really focused right now, you're obviously not focused, right? You're just, if you're thinking about being focused, you're not focused because you're not thinking about whatever you should be focused on, right? So if you're like focused on doing homework, you're not thinking about, oh, I'm doing my homework right now, aren't I? No, it's like you're just doing your homework. You're not thinking about it. So then I kind of thought about harnessing this. Okay, I obviously don't want to be overtly aware at all times that I'm focused, but I want to kind of get lost, but get lost on the right thing. Because inherently, you're always focused on something, right? But you want to be focused on the right thing. And if you're aware of what you're focused on, then you're not focused on anything, right? You're just focused on your focus. So the key is to be focused, unawarely focused, like you're kind of, you're not aware that you're focused on this, but on the correct thing, right? So, because whatever you're doing, you're focused on. You're only focused on one thing. You have to be focused on something. It's not like you can be unfocused. Being unfocused is simply being off task. You're focused on the wrong task, which is different. You're still focused. You're just on the wrong task. And then alternatively, you could be focused on what you're focused on. Like, what am I focused on right now? And then the ideal scenario is you're focused on what you want to be focused on. So I don't know, I kind of thought about, is it possible to, aside from the use of like a bunch of drugs or something stupid, I'm sure there's some way to induce it with enough stimulants, but way to induce focus on the correct activities, because unfortunately, in order for you to make sure you're on the right activity, you need to be aware of what you're doing, right? But if you're focused, that inherently doesn't exist. So I'm not sure. It's difficult. And any guru that says that they've figured out how to focus on stuff and this is their perfect little to-do list or whatever that's going to do, I mean, go fuck yourself. These people are stupid. Don't ever take anybody's. So I don't have any kind of silver bullet for people that are struggling with focus, or, I'm not convinced it is possible. Now, there may be ways to cultivate, I don't know. I think the environment argument is one that I think has merit, meaning that, like, if your environment is privy to you doing whatever you want to do, you're more likely to do that thing, right? So if you have like, let's say you have like your goal is to do your laundry, right? And you want to be focused on doing your laundry. Well, the worst environment would be one where you can't even find your clothes. There's video games and everything's around you. There's food, and there's just everything is calling for your attention except for the laundry. The ideal environment for this would probably be just a big empty room with a pile of clothes on the ground. You'd be like, okay, well, probably should do my laundry. It's the only thing I can see in here. So like that, black and white difference between your environment would probably help you focus on whatever it is. So I think there's an aspect of this functional minimalism to focus that I think is helpful. So like if you want to journal every day, having an empty desk with just a journal on it that you're going to have to sit at, if you're in your room, probably would help you journal more versus if it's your stuff under your bed. So there's kind of that environment argument, like, you can kind of cultivate your environment to focus on stuff. There's this organizational argument where it's like, all focus comes from this lack of organization, right? You don't have your, ish together. You want to make like this unified to-do list and have this perfect mechanism for deciding what you're to do at this every moment in time. Sure, that might have like merits as well. I'm sure there are organizational benefits, of course, to having what you're supposed to do in a line. But I also just don't think it's a solved case, especially because really you're not battling against a known enemy. We don't really know, I guess, besides like, I guess this drug-induced focus that you could have. We still don't really know what the essence of like making that, what is that even? We know some factors at play, so I'm not going to act like we know nothing, chemically what's going on, but there's still a lot of difficulty in being focused on the right thing, because I think even what stimulants or whatever drugs that they're going to use to put people on to make them focus, that might help them with the meta focus awareness. So they know what they're focused on, but kind of to truly be focused, I suppose to use the term that everyone's talking about is flow state, which is really just, you're just focused on the correct task and you're not aware that you're even focused. You're just kind of in this state of focus, right? Versus, being unfocused is really just being focused on a different task, right? If you're unfocused but just playing Minecraft, I'm focused. I'm just playing Minecraft, which is off task. But it's not like I'm not focused. It's kind of impossible to not have a focus. Even if you're baked off your ass just staring at the ceiling, you're still kind of focused on the ceiling, right? It's like you're thinking about whatever ridiculous thoughts you're having. You're still focused on that. It's just you're not you're not even aware that you're unfocused. You're just blissfully unaware that you're focused on the wrong task. So I think it's kind of directing the focus at the right task and having the wherewithal to or at least not having wherewithal, like just not being aware that you're focused. But it's kind of difficult because if you're not aware that you're focused, you're not aware that you're not on task. But if you're, on task and focused, you don't want to be thinking about, whether you're on task or not. You just want to be doing it. So I don't know. It's kind of a difficult thing. Cultivating focus is a, I don't know, potential pursuit that, or just in a more deeper level of inquiry that is fascinating to me. As somebody who, likes to get shit done. So I don't know. Not that it's really imperative that I think some aspects of, living a full life is to have time of unfocus. Like people just allowing yourself to be bored is just a perfectly fine focus for me sometimes. Sometimes I don't want to have be getting shit done all the time. There's a healthy amount of boredom and kind of focused on the unfocused or focused on the off task that is healthy. So I don't know, a bit all over the place today. But yeah, anyway, I'll pinch it off for today, but thanks for watching and I will see you next time. Peace out.